and I will be doing a presentation for Ann Olson's 325 American Lit class. Throughout history, there have been numerous men and women of various ethnicities that hailed from very different courses in life, but have played important roles towards the forward progression of the United States. In learning about these trailblazers and forefathers of history, science, and literature, while navigating through the K-12 educational system, students are only taught about a few major players. The problem with this is obvious to most. The majority of lessons which are given have been slanted by people who had influence and power to amend and alter what is written and taught in the history books. Information regarding those forgotten individuals and their impact on daily life has been dismissed as unimportant. One such group that left a great impression on humanity, as it is known today, was the talent and expertise of the African American. African American pioneers such as inventors, discoverers, and authors were and are still rarely acknowledged for their contributions towards the development and advancement of our society. Their inventions, discoveries, and writings, for example, have been left out by reason of neglect, from plain view, and require a substantial amount of researching. Why? Who is it that wants to keep this history concealed? Who benefits by keeping the truth buried in a labyrinth of lies and secrecy? Who doesn't benefit? Who suffers? In his 1933 book, The Miseducation of the Negro, Carter Goodwin Woodson stated, "The Negro had no place in this curriculum. He was pictured as a human being of the lower order, unable to subject passion to reason, and therefore useful only when made the hewer of wood and the drawer of water for others." Several of the machines and gadgets that make the way of life possible today should be attributed to these unknowns. Inventions such as the corn planter by Henry Blair in 1834, the elevator by Alexander Miles in 1867, the fire extinguisher by T.J. Marshall in 1872, and the electric lamp bulb by Louis Latimer in 1882, who designed the necessary drawings needed so Alexander Graham Bell could receive the patent for his invention. Other inventions include the air conditioning unit, the lawnmower, refrigerator, telephone transmitter, the spark plug, stove, and the typewriter. With agriculture being such a huge part of the world, homage should definitely be paid to George Washington Carver, who in 1896 developed the groundbreaking crop rotation method. Here we see a couple of African American inventors. This one here is Louis Latimer, that invented the carbon filament, Alexander Miles, the elevator, T.J. Marshall and his fire extinguisher, Henry Blair, the corn planter. These are all original photos of the patents they submitted. Frederick Jones, the air conditioning / refrigeration unit for a vehicle. Garrett Morgan, the gas mask and the traffic light. George Washington Carver and his crop rotation method. Granville Woods, the multiplex telegraph. And J. Standard, the refrigerator. Another area that has been significantly changed due to the forgotten is written literature. Literature has changed and progressed through its many genres, taking aspects from and building upon the genre that came before. However, many readers are unaware of where literature originated, the names of those who paved the way, and most importantly, their impact their work has had for the numerous generations since. Teaching of literature in many instances is very tightly regulated and structured, and educational institutions push certain widely known readings years after years. In most cases, the readings are monumental classics that have proven to be worthy of reading, regardless of when they were written. Nevertheless, there are several of authors who have written groundbreaking work or are the first in their genre, which no one has heard of. Many times, these are authors of color. A selected few African American authors make it into required reading classes or class discussions, such as Frederick Douglass's narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass from 1845, W.E. Du Bois' The Souls of Black Folks, 1903, or Booker T. Washington's Up from Slavery, 1901. Most of the Black authors on school reading lists tend to be of newer literature, by Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, Alex Haley's Roots, Alice Walker's The Color Purple, autobiographies of notables such as Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. We are educated and told of some important Blacks, but frequently in those few history book pages that are dedicated to Black history, we are shown radicals and how they fought against social justice. Those that typically sneak onto the pages are Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad, Rosa Parks and the participants in the Civil Rights Movement, and the Black Panther Party. This slide, we look at some of the known African American authors that we read: Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X. A few more: Alex Haley, Alice Walker, Toni Morrison, and Maya Angelou. This next slide, we'll look at the radicals that we are told are radicals that we read about. Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad and her wanted poster, the booking pictures of Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr., the wanted by FBI poster of Angela Davis, the booking picture of Huey P. Newton, which was the founder of the Black Panther Party, the Black Panther Party itself, and 4 women who are known as founders in the Black Panther Party. Who made it possible for these great Black authors to rise to their notoriety? Who fought the struggles and rejections to pave the way for future authors? Their names are unknown, their stories have been misplaced, and are not of significance. For this week's readings, we will look at 5 little-known Black authors who were the first to publish in their genre. Phyllis Wheatley and her poems on various subjects are a landmark achievement in American history. In publishing it, Wheatley became the first African-American and first U.S. slave to publish a book of poems, as well as the 3rd American woman to do so. 13-year-old Wheatley wrote on Messrs. Hussey and Coffin, a poem published in 1767. George Moses Horton became the first African-American man to publish a book in the South, and one of the first to publicly protest his slavery in poetry. His book, The Hope of Liberty, was published in 1828 while he was still enslaved, where he remained until he was emancipated late in the Civil War. William Wells Brown's novel Clodagh, considered the first written by an African American, was published in London in 1853, where he resided at the time. Later, it was published in the United States. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper's story, The Two Offers, was published in 1859 and was the first short story published by an African American. And last, Pauline Hopkins. Her short story, Talma Gordon, was published in 1900. Is named as the first African American mystery story and was published in 1900. Phyllis Wheatley, William Wells Brown, George Moses Horton, Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, and Pauline Hopkins. Class. Under Week 12 forums, you will find selections from these 5 authors as well as forum questions for discussion.